All right, so notice here 1 Timothy 5:8. All right, let's read this real fast. 1 Timothy 5:8, and here's what it says. It says, but if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Now, an infidel is just another name for an unbeliever, and maybe more than just simply an unbeliever, someone that's really outspoken about being an unbeliever. That's a very interesting thing. We don't hear things like this said much. It's interesting. Christianity is so practical. I often think as a preacher, sometimes I think I did this one time or a few times, I'd take me a calendar and I'd put it out and I said, let me look at all the dates where people expect certain things to be preached. Like at Christmas time, you don't hear many people preaching on hell at Christmas time, right? It just, you think they're going to preach on Christmas. Thanksgiving, that's covered. Mother's Day, Father's Day, you start looking at that. You got the New Year's, you got Valentine's, you're going to preach on love. Then you got Easter. Before you know it, you look and say, man, it's almost like you're programmed to have to preach certain messages. Where can you just simply preach what you think is needed without it being one of these situations where someone says, well, we want to hear this on this time of year, so to speak. Well, this is one of these things where you don't hear much practical Christianity being preached as far as I'm concerned. Notice again what it's talking about here. But if any provide not, that means a man that won't take care of his household. And in this case, it's kind of divided up between a man that would have people, I think, working for him, which was not uncommon in that day. And then it says, and especially for those of his own house, that's his family. So it's saying literally if a man, and Timothy's supposed to preach this to the churches he goes to, because this is a problem of all generations. This is not just a problem in our day, and this is a problem, and this is why things like this need to be preached. It's basically saying that if you're a man and you're in charge of that home, and you don't provide for them, and especially for your own, okay, a man that won't take care of his family, the Bible says that man is like a man that's worse than an unbeliever. Now that's pretty strong language. That's not me making it more than what it is. That's exactly what it's saying, and I believe that's the kind of stuff that people need to hear, because you know what? There's people in this world that thinks very low and looks down upon the four-letter word called work, W-O-R-K, work. You look in the Bible, God says a lazy man, he frowns upon the lazy man, the sluggard, the man that won't work. And here it is, Timothy is being told, here's something that you need to tell these people that you're going to be ministering to. If a man doesn't provide for his own, and especially for those of his own house, the Bible says he hath denied the faith. It'd be our way of saying, don't tell me what kind of Christian you are. Go out here and get you a job and take care of your family. That's to be about the way a preacher would say it, right? People do a lot of talking, but you see somebody that won't take care of his family. The Bible says you've denied the faith. See, God says Christianity makes everything better. It's not just we're talking about some kind of a theory. We're just talking about, everybody love everybody. Let me tell you something. Christianity says, look, you don't work, bud, the way we'd say it. You need to get with it, man, because you're worse than an infidel. Because the truth is, here's the bad thing about it is, this is not a major issue with people, but you're always going to find people that don't believe in God whatsoever, and they work hard. They're on time. They're very punctual. They pay their bills. And then, sadly, there's people that say, I'm a Christian, won't work, won't pay their bills, lazy, not punctual. I could fit a few things in there, just not trying to, throw the whole service out the window. But you know what? There's people that don't believe in God, and that's a shame, of course. But they've got a work ethic that will outdo some believers by far. And that's a shame, because Christianity should make somebody say, you know what? Not only am I going to heaven, not being redeemed, but bless God, anything in life that's supposed to be good and right, and work is one of those things. You have a family, you take